Vertebrates. Vertebrates are chordates that have a vertebral column surrounding a spinal cord. Chordates are animals that have a notochord at any stage of life. A notochord is a flexible rod made of cartilage that runs from head to tail. In some species, such as lancelets and lampreys, the notochord persists throughout life, while in other vertebrates it is the precursor of the vertebra. Vertebrae are irregular bones that surround the spinal cord. A vertebrate is any animal that has vertebra. Humans lose their notochord by the age of 4. The spine, backbone, and vertebral column are synonyms for the column of vertebrae that enclose and protect the spinal cord. The spinal cord is made up of nervous tissue. It extends from the base of the brain to the lumbar region of the spine. Together, the brain and the spinal cord make up the central nervous system. One of the simplest chordates is the lancelet. They inhabit soft sand or gravel in marine coastal waters. The notochord, and that's in yellow here, right over there, provides structure from head to tail and lies just under the nerve cord. All vertebrates have a vertebral column. The human vertebral column is made up of 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic vertebrae, 5 lumbar vertebrae, and then the sacrum and the coccyx down here. All vertebrates belong to the Phylum Chordata. One of the features that defines this phylum is the presence of a notochord at some stage of life. The first chordates evolved during the Cambrian explosion. They had notochords and distinct heads and tails. Notochord species still represent half of the living chordate species. The spine evolved after the notochord. All animals with a backbone, vertebrates, evolved from a bony fish species that lived approximately 540 million years ago. All vertebrates have notochords at an early stage of development. Phylum Chordata has 8 classes: lancelets, lampreys, cartilage fish, bony fish, lobe-finned fish, amphibians, reptiles, which include birds, and finally, mammals. Birds used to belong to class Aves, but have recently been reclassified to Saurischia, a class of reptiles, the same subgroup as crocodiles. Starting here with the ancestral chordates, we have vertebrae coming here, then jaws, then a bony skeleton, then lungs, limbs, an amniotic egg, and finally mammary glands. And let's see, who split off down here? The lancelets and the tunicates right down here, okay? So they don't have vertebrae, they don't have jaws, etc. And here's mammals. And what's really cool, the reptiles and birds, right? The theory now is that birds are the descendants of dinosaurs. This chart cuts out the lancelets and the tunicates and starts with vertebrates that have vertebra. So we have the sharks, more primitive than the primates, okay? Sharks developed first. Then we got the bony skeleton, 4 limbs, an amniotic egg, and then hair coming over here to the primates. And over on the right, we have our crocodiles, dinosaurs, and birds. Mammal characteristics. They all have fur or hair. They are viviparous, which means they were born from a womb. Mammals all feed their young milk from the mammary glands of their mothers. They may live on land or in water. All are endothermic. They all breathe through their lungs. They all have teeth, and some mammals can fly. Most, but not all birds fly. Birds have adaptations for flight, including feathers, hollow bones, a rapid metabolism, and warm body temperature. They breathe through their lungs. They do not have teeth, but they do have beaks. Like all vertebrates, birds evolved from bony fish and have retained some of their characteristics. They have scaly skin and are oviparous. That means they lay eggs that then hatch. But unlike fish and other reptiles, birds are warm-blooded and feathered. Amphibians lay eggs that hatch in the water. They undergo a metamorphosis. They are born with a tail, they then develop 4 legs and lose their tails as they mature. They breathe through gills when young. Adult amphibians live on land and in water and breathe through lungs and their skin. They are cold-blooded. Reptiles are oviparous. They are covered with scales. They breathe through lungs. They're cold-blooded except those of the bird lineage. Turtles and tortoises have shells developed mainly from their ribs and live longer than other animals.